Hello, everyone, and welcome to INNOVATE opening keynote. My name is Jonathan Vaughn. I'm the CEO of the Quest Oracle community, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Yvette Cameron, the Senior Vice President of Global HCM Strategy at Oracle. And on top of her role at Oracle, Yvette is also the co-founder and board advisory member of Velocity Career Labs, which is the technology organization behind the Velocity Network Foundation, which is an industry consortium delivering the blockchain-powered Internet of Careers. So Yvette is an international speaker on innovations in HCM processes and technology and the future of work, and we're really lucky to have her with us here today. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to you, Yvette, to talk about HCM trends and technology enablers.
All right. Well, thank you, John, for the introduction. And hello, good morning, afternoon, or good evening to folks, depending on where you're coming in from. I'm super excited to be able to spend some time with you this morning. I wanted to focus on the top trends and technology enablers happening in our business today. And I'm sorry, I'm having a little hard time progressing my slides here. Let's see if I can make that happen. I'm going to try this again. I'm sorry, folks. A little technical difficulty here. Okay. There we go. So as we talk about the key kind of trends and imperatives for organizations, I wanted to start off our conversation talking about really where are we today, right? The pandemic, certainly when it hit, it changed everything. It changed everything for businesses. It changed everything for organizations. And, oops, I don't know what happened there. And for many organizations, you're in the place of currently trying to respond to the pandemic. We certainly had to do that almost overnight in our businesses. We had to really think about the health and well-being of our workforce. We had to think about how do we right-size our organizations, which for many meant furloughs. It meant moving people into temporary positions. It meant supporting people to be working from home. But now, as we are, 18, 20 months into the pandemic and still going, many organizations are starting to shift their mindset and think about other ways to enable their workforce, their business, and really propel businesses forward. They're thinking about redefining the workplace, right? What does that mean from ensuring that our workplaces now are safe and secure, protecting individuals and colleagues and our customers? We're thinking about new ways to bring people, new hires back into work, but also reboarding those individuals who have now had an experience of working from home for the last 15, 18, 20 months. The constant concern about, do we have the right skill set with our changing business, the way we've had to change and morph as organizations due to the pandemic. We've seen many restaurants shifting from dining in only to carry out, and so many other transformations across the global labor market. How do you ensure that you've got the right skill set for the future? And many organizations are talking about upskilling and reskilling, but also they're thinking about reimagining the way we work. So reimagining it through new experiences for the individuals, recognizing that individuals are completely burned out. They've got Zoom fatigue. They have really, having spent perhaps more time at home. Maybe many of our workforce moved back to home locations as opposed to working close to their offices, and have experienced new ways of engaging with their work and maybe have new expectations for that work-life balance. Employee experience is front and center. But also we found that women have been, women and other underrepresented members of the workforce have been disproportionately affected by this pandemic. We're seeing groups of individuals who are staying home while others are starting to return to the workplace, and the consequences of inappropriate or insufficient policies around diversity and equity and inclusion in your workforce is really taking front and center stage. Flexible work arrangements. Are we going to be in a hybrid workforce model for the duration? Is this our new normal, or is that just the new normal for some organizations? So organizations are finding themselves in any area of this. This isn't a continuum. This is a process that we keep coming back to every 30, 60 days. It seems that we're being asked to rethink, how are we responding to the pandemic? How are we redefining the workforce? How are we reimagining the way that we worked? And so what we're finding is that resilient, agile, successful organizations are going to be those who really shift their mindset and focus on the imperatives of their business from the employee's perspective, right? Because it's the employees who we're certainly facing the great resignation. More than 40% of individuals looking to change jobs once they return to their current workforce, or even now before they've returned to the normal workplace. Individuals, as I said, have new expectations for how they interact with work, for the limitations that they are willing to go beyond as far as breaking that personal and work boundary. And so if you look at the business imperatives of providing new ways of providing customer work as your business shifts into different models, as you are looking for creative ways to attract new skills and capabilities of your organization, you have to focus on those imperatives from the individual's perspective. You need to really look at these, what we see are these 5 key imperatives, these areas that organizations that are really starting to focus on that is driving positive results for their businesses. So these are the focus of skills and capabilities, right? As we look across to the future, how do we ensure that the right skills, the right capabilities are going to be in our organization? And whether that comes from new talent we bring into the organization or upskilling and reskilling our current talent, how do we identify those who have those propensities for the skills and capabilities that we need? This is one of the top imperatives for organizations today. And of course, focusing on the health and well-being and safety of our workforce, ensuring not only are we bringing people back to work in a safe way, but that these workplaces remain a safe environment for our employees, for our customers. There's been a lot of rapidly shifting legislation and expectations around vaccination tracking. Will we do it at this organization? Will we don't? Does your software support the varying approaches that you might take across your company or within certain divisions or certain countries? Really key imperatives to think about. Inclusion, equity, diversity, as I said, as we start looking and bringing people back to work, organizations are focusing on how do they ensure going forward that they're not just focusing on metrics, but they're also focusing on those key things that matter. Flexible work, so more hybrid workforce support, different org structures, and really putting the power of decision making further down into the organization, making individuals more autonomous in their ability to drive business forward. All of that wrapped up in what we call tailored workforce experiences or tailored employee experiences. Everything from the support they get through their processes that they might be interacting with you as HR leaders, so when onboarding and learning and career development, through the process of moving into a new office or getting a new security badge or closing the books if they happen to be a member of the finance organization. Any experience that they're having at work will naturally overlap with their personal lives, and there will be various considerations. And our focus here at Oracle is to help you ensure you're giving individuals the personalized guidance and support they need in any of the experiences that they're having in and around your work environment. So what does this look like, right? If we think about, what's possible if you as an organization are to shift your mindset and adapt a focus from an individual perspective on those 5 key imperatives that I just talked about very briefly, then what's possible? Well, I have a bit of a vision demo to show you. So let's take a look. So I love that video. I think it's, if you think about what you saw in that last minute and a half, you saw an entirely new way of thinking about how you're engaging with your workforce. That video, I think, represents a difference in how many organizations work today because it's focused on the individual. We saw our individual employee getting connected to others across the organization, not just for work, but also for personal reasons, for joining communities that were of interest to her outside of the standard work environments. We saw artificial intelligence bringing recommendations and options to her, and even congratulating her upon her 1-year anniversary. We saw a tremendous amount of connectivity and the ability to scan across the organizations and find others like me and navigate the organizational hierarchy in a very easy, graphical, intuitive way. We saw interaction with digital assistants, chatbots, right, that make the need to navigate to different pages in an HR system unnecessary. I can engage as naturally as I'm talking with you right here to make things happen in the application, to update information, to find information, and so forth. So that demo represents the vision of Oracle and very much where our applications are today. We recognize across Oracle Cloud HCM that people and experiences are unique. And so we are infusing the technology and the process support, the configuration capabilities necessary within our applications to ensure those highly personalized, highly guided experiences. Now, what I want to do is spend just a few minutes to drill down into each of those 5 areas, because I think, you know, it's important that we don't just talk about a shift in mindset and skills and health, that we really understand what's behind this. Why are these 5 areas the imperatives for organizations today? And specifically, what are we doing in Oracle Cloud HCM to help our customers? And so as I started, you know, the first imperative is that of focus on skills and having a skills-centric mindset, especially across your talent management applications. We've got a quote here from a Gartner research article, the top 5 priorities for HR leaders. And they make the call here that, you know, the traditional ways of predicting skills aren't working. Many employees aren't learning the right new skills for their personal development for the benefits. Well, let's unpack what's happening here in the skills area. We have learned from research and experience that understanding the skills and the competencies of your workforce is fundamentally a challenge. It's been a challenge for decades. Whether you've been investing in competency libraries and trying to manage those, job descriptions and position-based management related to certain skills, job requirements, etc. What we're finding is that jobs are changing faster than we can keep pace with in our competency libraries. The skills needed to execute today's jobs are very different from those just 4 years ago. In fact, from the same research from Gartner, they found that a good 30-40% of skills are not needed. They become obsolete after just 4 years. And the number of skills we need in our jobs is increasing at least 10% every year. And so keeping pace with the changes brought on by technology, by artificial intelligence, by advances in new ways, and a move from an industry-based economy to a knowledge to a services-based economy is really causing a lot of disruption in organizations and for individuals as well. And you can imagine during this time of working from home, a lot of individuals have spent time developing their skills, but they're struggling with, how do I bring my new skills to my employer? How do I demonstrate my new expanded capabilities? And how do I break out of the silos that my employer currently has me in? I'm currently marked perhaps as a finance professional, but my interests lie elsewhere. And how do I know how well my skills today, as well as the skills that my company doesn't know about, how do I understand how these skills translate into the opportunities that are available in my company so that I have some possibility for a different career trajectory than I have now? So these are all the challenges and considerations happening in skills today. And so how are we addressing this in Oracle Cloud HCM? So we launched a new initiative earlier this year called Dynamic Skills, but this is an area of functionality that we have been developing over the course of the last few years. Incredible deep investments in deep learning technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that is all centered around understanding the skills of the organization, both what individuals have and the skills needs and the language that the organization, your organization, uses to describe the capabilities that you're seeking and that you require in your different jobs. Understanding the relations between job titles and jobs and skills and the way they're defined, and looking for those connection points, the adjacencies, the related skills, and using this deep learning engine technology and the mapping, the graphical mapping of these relationships across skills and jobs and job titles and information to help propel businesses and individuals forward. So both from the perspective of the individual, the way in which we are able to enrich the skills profile of the individual has now become a very automated and intelligent and highly personalized model. Whether you're a candidate who's applying for a job in your organization, or an individual who is looking to take new learning or look at my career mobility options, or who just wants to be presented periodically suggestions for jobs and opportunities to look at through the organization, you as the organization need to understand my skills. So we apply artificial intelligence to an individual's profile, again, whether they're a candidate or an employee, and we use that insight to help make recommendations to the individual for other skills that may not be currently listed on their profile. We do this through understanding the adjacencies, inferring skills they probably have based on the information we see about the individual. And we also then apply matching algorithms, so very intelligent advisor capabilities driven by AI to match the individuals with the opportunities in the organization. Now, we do that on the candidate side, of course, matching candidates to job opportunities, again, based on this much more enriched matching and understanding of skills. We do it for employees, matching them not only to job opportunities, but to opportunities through our learning capabilities to see what kind of courses would help them grow their skills, what kind of mentors and career ambassadors can we connect them to help give them a connection point for discussing and understanding the opportunities for them along certain career paths and developing certain skills and the benefits of that, connecting them to jobs, gig opportunities, or jobs, part-time, full-time, temporary, gig work within the organization to, again, help them grow their skills and experiences to propel them in new areas of career advancement that aren't really possible today. So all of this intelligently directed through artificial intelligence so that individuals are receiving opportunities and don't always have to go searching for them. Now, I've mentioned that this is for individuals as well as candidates. And so, clearly with Oracle Recruiting, we have robust AI built into our applications to make sure that this intelligent matching, the best fit candidates for the right jobs, similar jobs to what candidates have been exploring, new jobs brought forward to them based on our better understanding of their skills and capabilities, perhaps jobs they hadn't considered, and similar matching capabilities from the recruiter's perspective. But beyond that matching capability, ensuring that we are tailoring the experience and bringing relevant, exciting, compelling information to prospects. So engaging them front and center with our candidate relationship management, our comprehensive marketing platform that really engages and builds those relationships with individuals. So skills and the opportunities of connecting people to opportunities within your organization in the most frictionless way possible is a major area of investment for us. I was super excited to be able to launch that earlier this year for our Cloud HCM application, and our roadmap in this area is quite extensive as we look out to the next 12 to 18 months and forward. Now, Another critical area, and one of those key 5 imperatives, is of course a focus on health and well-being and safety. And it's interesting. We launched research back at Oracle back in 2019, and we've done research again in 2020. And we have found that individuals have reported, as you can imagine, high degrees of disruption in their lives. I think over 78% of individuals said that they were, extremely stressed out and had their personal lives significantly disrupted by this. Many organizations have said that they are actually increasing their focus on health and well-being topics over the last year as a result of the massive impact on mental health of the workforce that the pandemic has had on individuals. And as I said, people are facing burnout. They've been sitting in their homes on Zoom meetings. They have lost connection in many cases with the individuals that form their community, their in-person, face-to-face community. It's juggling work and home life in ways that we just have not experienced before, as schools were shut down and travel has been restricted. So it's been a very, very intense period for individuals as well as for businesses. And I know as HR leaders, I talk to so many of you who tell me stories about, high turnover and disengagement and just really lack of productivity from individuals. There was an interesting survey by Deloitte who had the really good comment here of saying, focus on the individual in work, not just the individual at work. And what that means is taking a more holistic point of view of your workforce. Are they not just focusing on, the safety and the vaccination tracking, but also ensuring that, they are getting the connections that they need, that they are supported with the information that they need, that they have the connections and information, right, that's necessary to help move them beyond certain challenges. So of course, as we look at the Oracle Cloud HCM offering, we have comprehensive support across all of these areas. I think we're at a stage now where organizations are starting to think about returning to the workplace. I know even here at Oracle, we're asking ourselves, is it time to open our offices up or not? And each company makes that choice, and each company makes that choice for different reasons and at different times. But all of us need to ensure that when that time comes, when we're opening our office doors again, or as we've already opened them, that employees are able to identify and report any unsafe conditions. I mean, now I think about the scenario of just even something as basic as where you eat your lunch, right? A staff room or a cafeteria. And if people are too close, or if the tables aren't cleaned, or there's not, prevalent, a hand washing sink is broken, what used to be a nuisance is now a significant health hazard. And so the ability through, for example, our workforce health and safety, to be able to identify and quickly report on an incident, to have the full tracking and follow-up to ensure from reporting through resolution that that incident is effectively managed, the ability to communicate out to the affected or potentially affected workforce about the incidents and the resolution. Again, it's mission critical now. That's not just a nuisance. It's truly, and it's not just a lie about OSHA and other things. It's truly life or death in some cases, and we need to be aware of that and supporting that within our systems. But also, as I said, many organizations are facing different attitudes or even legal requirements on the ability to bring people back to work. Is your organization going to support the vaccine mandate? Will you require that your employees are vaccinated and show proof of that? If for those who have exceptions, or if you're not requiring it, how will you ensure that you're tracking negative tests and ordering those tests, etc.? So through a combination of things like our new Journeys platform, our new employee experience platform that lets you craft and set up those individual journeys and tracking and information protocols, etc., for your organization, and through things like our document of record, which lets you very quickly gather and track those COVID vaccination reports, reports or record of a negative vaccine. Again, depending on the policies and needs of your organization, we have the different guidelines, ability to securely track in a highly secure way, ensuring the protection of personally identifiable information and other legal requirements around data security and privacy. But the policy and the guidance of the flow of the process, what are the steps an individual needs to take to return to work and do so safely, or every week check in, report their vaccination status or their testing status, etc. We have that support that makes it very easy for organizations, regardless of where you're located across the globe or where what your particular policies are. Now, the third of the key imperatives is a focus on inclusion, equity, and diversity. And before the pandemic struck, we were starting to see an increased focus in this area. Really interesting that, even if we look at the NASDAQ and some of the rulings, right, from our own SEC, there was a conversation and an initiative for those organizations, for example, on the NASDAQ, who didn't have a certain percentage of women leadership to be delisted from that particular stock exchange. There were initiatives across Germany. There's been now initiatives just in general reporting across the various Securities and Exchange Commission and within individual organizations, whether it's driven by culture or community or just the understanding that having a diverse and inclusive business makes business sense. There was indeed a focus on this, but now with the impact of the pandemic and so many more, as I said, women and underrepresented populations being adversely affected more than others, we have to think about how are we returning people back to work, and how is your technology supporting insight into your workforce, understanding the diversity across your workforce, but also ensuring things like connectivity, building that sense of inclusion and belonging within your organization. It's not just a numbers game anymore. Of course, across Oracle, we have comprehensive analytics and dashboards that give you full insight into things like gender ratio and head count and talent and impact by different segments of your workforce. It can look at hiring and losses and look for risks and flags, and you've got a tremendous amount of insight available at your fingertips for you, as well as for your managers, as they need to know as they're thinking about returning people to work and different policies. But it is beyond just the numbers, right? As I said, it's also about ensuring engagement and connectivity, feeling that I belong to a community that's more than just about work, that there are others like me who I can connect and engage with and learn from and build that sense of community within my workforce. And whatever like me is what's important to me. And so taking that employee-centric point of view on diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging is highly critical. I look at some of the capabilities we have within Oracle HCM Cloud, such as our connections capability, which is essentially the directory, right, of your organization. But as you can see on the screenshot here, it gives you as the individual the opportunity to not just have your business, your organization information, your hierarchy, etc., but to describe you. Tell me about yourself. What are the key tags and things that you want to be found by as people are searching? And I would expect we'd all have business tags, but I also might want to have a tag around neurodiversity or women in leadership or whatever is of interest to me, blockchain, whatever. So building out and my full comprehensive profile, indicating my skills and my interests, my experience, my personal interests, and the ability to find people across the organization is incredibly important. We support things like volunteering programs, a tremendous way to build community, build that sense of inclusion and belonging, bring people together, really promote the social responsibility and consciousness of your organization through things like volunteering. And so again, through our work-life capabilities, volunteering projects and competitive gamification of different campaigns, and the ability to really come together, track, and celebrate those kinds of activities across your organization really transform the experience and culture of your organization. And they do so in a completely natural, native way, native to the rest of the HCM suite in Oracle Cloud HCM, so that you're not having to manage a different experience, integration, a different look and feel, a different login. Again, this is all part of the core capabilities that we deliver across our suite. So really excited about the ability to help organizations as they look at how do we drive diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging initiatives in our company. Now, I think flexible work and a flexible workforce is front and center for organizations. Everywhere we go, we talk about the hybrid workforce, and especially now that we are really in the early stages of this great resignation, with so many individuals, more than 45% saying they're going to change jobs. Where are they going, right? What's attracting them to the jobs that they're moving to? Who's going to fill those positions, and how are those positions changing? As HR leaders, as business leaders, we need to rethink the approaches that we have, not just in the way that we are defining our organizations. So again, from from a mindset of you have to work in the office and it's full-time, part-time, and these are the jobs we're filling, and that's that, to a more flexible mindset of, perhaps the entire workforce or certain segments can work from home, or there's a hybrid approach where it's a combination of home and remote, depending on the needs. Your pay policies, are you paying premiums for living, in a particular city? If your business is based in a high cost area like New York or San Francisco, are you paying a premium for those who live there, and yet paying, less, not that premium, for those who might live in the Midwest, let's say, and yet the work is the same? That mindset is one that I think we all have to start questioning. Compensation after the pandemic is a significant discussion that we're starting to have with a lot of our HCM leaders amongst our customer base. What is the right approach? What are others doing? This shift in mindset towards skills-based hiring, as opposed to, job description hiring, but hiring for those skills and capabilities, as I talked to earlier, and ensuring you've got that workforce who is going to grow and flex with you. Do they need to be in a particular region and city, or can they be remote? How do you manage the potential inequality, right, of the skills you're asking of everybody, and yet the requirement for some who see it as a benefit to come into work, others see it as a distraction and a hesitation and don't want it. So there's so many things to consider. So flexible work and flexible workforce considerations. We're seeing an increase in gig work, this idea that it's not just about full-time and part-time people, it's about hiring individuals for project-based work. And in fact, we'll see over time a shift in the way that we're posting for jobs. We're seeing it, we're starting to see it today, but I still think that we're at the early stages. But rather than posting for jobs and hiring people for jobs, posting for projects and bringing on individuals who are going to move and flex across projects. That mindset is actually starting to take off in the concept of project-based work in the organization for just a short time. For example, even here at Oracle, we find that we've got a project for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and we're able to find and put other people on these jobs temporarily for our benefit to get a particular project done and not have to have a full-time, long-term job description defined behind it, but also for the individual. It gives them a chance to grow their skills in a new potential area, to make them more diverse in their experience and skill set, and hence a better fit for opportunities that will arise over time that may be more full-time and long-term. So this idea of different ways of organizing your work and your work structures, rethinking from the top-down hierarchical models to more autonomous and self-directed and maybe short-term and project-based work, rethinking the way that you compensate the workforce. These are just kind of the tip of the iceberg in how we support more autonomy and flexible workforce and a flexible work mindset. Another area that really kind of underpins all of this is how are you providing individuals with the information they need to make decisions in the organization. So if you think about it today in your organization and with your current HCM systems, oftentimes you've got a reporting dashboard where reports are written probably by a member of IT and distributed out to certain individuals, perhaps updated periodically. Individuals navigate through their HCM system to find those reports. They might or might not be able to receive it on their mobile applications. And you have issues and concerns around security and access, and are the reports providing just the right information and only the information that individual should be able to see. But in almost all cases today, HR and IT are a part of that process in defining those reports, etc. And it's really dependent upon you to look in the crystal ball and ask, what do people need to see? What kind of questions can we help answer for them to help them make the right decisions at the management, at the line, right, where it matters in the time of need? What if you didn't have to have a crystal ball? What if you could democratize data and give access to all of the individuals in the organization who need it, and to give access in a secure way so you're confident they're not seeing information that they shouldn't be seeing, and that these individuals can create their own reports on the fly without the need of IT or your support, and to do so whether they're sitting at their desk on a tablet or even using their mobile phone. And now imagine that individuals can create these analytics, these insights, just by speaking what they want. Hey Siri, I want to see a turnover report across the entire United States, exclude New York, divide it by sex. And when I said sex, the underlying natural language processing is intelligent enough to know, oh, that means gender. And as I'm thinking about it, I say it, and I'm seeing it manifest right there in front of me on my mobile device, on my laptop, on my tablet. And as the information comes forward, I'm able to refine it. Oh, great. Now let's drill into that location and see which managers have been affected. Great. Now, is there a shift on that manager's in that manager's department that has higher turnover than others? I mean, that ability to drill down with your voice and again create this information on the fly, and then furthermore to be able to save it and share it with others as necessary. So these are the kinds of capabilities that are available today in Oracle Cloud HCM using our Fusion HCM analytics. Both operational reporting, time-based trend analysis. This comprehensive capability puts new autonomy, new capabilities, new decision-making support into the hands of managers, of leadership, of supervisors, of others who need it in a secure way. And it takes you and it takes IT out of the picture. So it's truly what I call democratizing data insights. I can't think of a better way to focus on improving productivity and improving agility in your workforce than by giving insights and access to insights as necessary. And as I've said earlier, also then as part of this flexibility and this new mindset of, putting data into the hands of managers, think it, say it, see it, putting more control into the hands of individuals for where they're taking their careers. Back in 2020, I believe, we introduced a new capability called Oracle's Opportunity Marketplace. And this is that area that lets individuals explore not just new jobs, but gigs, short-term, part-time opportunities to build their skills, gain new experiences. And now we have AI under the covers to better match employees and individuals to those jobs and gig opportunities so that individuals can take control of their career. Yes, we understand that many millennials and other employees really look to their managers to help guide them in their career, but the pandemic has changed everything. And if we've learned nothing in the last 18 months, is that we as individuals have to take control of our mental health, of our learning and development, of our careers. And many are taking control of their careers by leaving their current employer and going elsewhere. Many are taking control by taking on second or third jobs and working multiple jobs at once. And many of us don't realize that. This is an opportunity also within your organization to put the power in the hands of the individuals to help them take control of their future. Incredibly important. I think underlying all of this is the last and the fifth in our shift mindset. It's the last listed, but probably the most fundamental, the most pervasive across all organizations, and that's focusing on tailored employee experiences. Josh Bersin has been writing a lot about experiences, experience platforms, and different approaches of vendors in the last couple of years. And he was so right when he said this: employee experience is a company-wide initiative to help employees stay productive and healthy and engaged. It's no longer just an HR project. And I was really excited by this particular quote because it truly reflects the approach that we've taken within our Oracle Cloud HCM solution to rethink and support the experiences of individuals in your organization, regardless of what activity they're engaged in. Again, whether it's something that HR traditionally manages and oversees, such as skill development or onboarding or, new manager transfers or work location transfers, but to really, truly anything that the individual is doing in the organization. So maybe they are responsible for suppliers, right? And bringing on and managing new supplier relationships, or a facilities manager responsible for opening the facilities now as we're coming out of the pandemic. What is your company policy? What are the steps to think about? What are some analytics or insights they should connect to? What are some transactions they should complete? Who should they be connecting with? What are some follow-up items? All of these steps and things and processes can be created for you. You create them yourself dynamically through our new Journeys experience platform. This is an enterprise employee experience platform. It gives you all the power to use not only the journeys that we've pre-delivered, but to modify them and create them from scratch so that they completely meet the unique needs of your company as well as for individuals. Because we understand the relationship of the individual with the organization, we understand the security and access to data limitations and requirements. We understand what's happening for the individual, that they've just reached a year of anniversary, or they've just had a promotion, or they've had a job switch change, whatever that information may be. All of that can be brought together through various triggers and the use of artificial intelligence to surface and recommend new journeys that will help the employee in their time of impact, right? So whether it's a crisis, whether it's a common everyday occurrence, this ability to guide your employees with highly personalized experience and support in anything that they're doing across the enterprise is incredibly important to us. And those experiences oftentimes will go beyond your enterprise. So whether they need to connect out to a third-party benefits administrator, or you're moving people across country and they need support with their expat relocation and taxation, you can craft these experiences to have complete process automation so that employees are not facing a jarring experience across multiple systems with multiple logins and experiences. So it's an exciting platform that we're incredibly excited about. Now, experiences are not just about flows and events and I've got this process that I need to think about and be supported. It might be something that's immediate right now. I need assistance. And one way to really put yourself and meet employees where their need is through flexible pay capabilities. Like, for example, we've recently introduced what we call anytime pay. And this is the ability for the employee to be paid through the hours that they've worked, not having to wait for your payroll. Maybe you pay once a month or once every 2 weeks. But if an employee has an immediate need today, they can request and get that information, that pay, all the way through today and not have to wait. This puts them in control of when they're paid. And what better way to meet the needs of individuals than to give them access to the money they've already earned, as opposed to holding them hostage, as it were, to the payroll cycles that you've determined for your organization. Things like, our wellness tracking and capabilities, and the ability, again, to have different campaigns. And as I talked about, volunteering, meeting those needs of individuals to give back to the community, to get engaged. All of these are ways to support and improve the experience of individuals across your organization. Now, I'm coming to close here, but I want to step back a little bit and say, our capabilities here in our Oracle Cloud HCM and where we're investing, are not just what you would call product focused, right? I've shown you a lot of great capabilities around the use of artificial intelligence to drive skills identification or the creation of journeys and driving those experiences. I've talked about capabilities like connections and volunteering and managing wellness and having campaigns and challenges around that. But overall, we also really just think about what is it like in those times when employees do come into and work within the Oracle application. What is that experience like itself? We recognize that employees don't spend 80-90% of their time in their HCM system. They might spend 10 or 15% of time, depending on the role that they have. But those experiences need to be highly intelligent. And we also recognize that it's not enough to sit back and wait for employees to log in and to the portal or to their homepage or to their HCM system and say, what do I need to do? We need to bring intelligence to the daily experiences of individuals and bring information to them. So we're doing that across our entire experience, again, by infusing artificial intelligence in the UX itself. You can see here on the screenshot of the homepage, we have across the top a nudge, right? Hey, check out exciting new gigs. This intelligent nudge that based on different pieces of information and activities is saying, this is the time that I need to surface this to this individual employee. Suggestions, again, that are based on artificial intelligence, based on activities of peers around them, or recommendations from managers, or a whole host of from simple to complex scenarios. We surface suggestions to people to say, hey, we know that you might have come here, but here's some other things that you might want to do or you might want to check out because of the time or the situation, etc. We help people remember what they need to finish, right? Things to finish. And all of this, of course, available through mobile devices. And we recognize that, we're used to using Siri and Alexa. And so this chatbot, this digital assistant experience is one that is now infused across the HCM suite. Yes, I could go and navigate to a life event in HCM and indicate that I've had a marital status change and enter some information. Or I could simply bring up my phone and say, hey, I got married, and the system will say, congratulations, when did that happen? I say July, and it will update my marriage date right then and there. And at the same time, it will create automatically a new journey for me that says, congratulations, this is your just got married journey. And that journey gives me guided steps and information for everything from uploading my marriage license to increasing and improving my benefits to, again, it could be policy information, connecting with other individuals, celebratory activity, any number of things. So the experiences that we are focused on for individuals across organizations, highly infused by artificial intelligence, and this focus on how do we make everything relevant for the individual, to streamline the process for the HR leadership, to ensure security and privacy of data, and to really drive business success by having more engaged, successful, supported workers across your organization. Now, I want to close. I hope that those 5 imperatives resonate with you. I spend so much of my time in my team. I manage the global HCM product strategy organization. So dozens of us speaking with customers of ours across the globe. And these are common themes that we're hearing and questions. How do we get there faster? How do we do more? Organizations, of all sizes and industry focused very much on those 5 areas. But I will also say, there is a new burning platform, right? And this burning platform is really this concept of probably inertia. I see so many organizations who have made do with where they are. They are, perhaps still on premise in a highly customized environment, or they've stitched together a series of solutions and customized so that everything exactly meets the way that you want to do business. And that's, fantastic to a point. But is the way you're doing business today the same way you were doing it 2 years ago, 10 years ago? Because even if it's the same way as 2 years ago, I'm telling you that's a burning platform, because the expectations of your workforce has changed. They expect a much more digital experience. They expect this employee-centric point of view where you are bringing information to them. You are showing them new ways that they can empower themselves to grow their career and skills and their opportunities with you or somebody else in the future. They have expectations to engage across the suite through voice interaction. Managers won't have the tolerance to call up the shared service center and ask for reporting, specialized reports. They want to be able to do it on the fly from anywhere, right? Whether they're home or on the train or in the office. The access, the need, and expectation for accessing information has significantly changed. So the new burning platform truly is any organization who is doing business the same and hasn't really taken this new employee-centric approach. We have, as you know, we have thousands of customers on Oracle Cloud HCM. A number have transitioned from multiple systems, or from PeopleSoft or JD Edwards or EBS or other systems. Some of them even bespoke, right? Solutions that they've grown themselves, or even managed off of spreadsheets and Word into the Cloud HCM with really tremendous stories to tell. There are so many stories I can tell out in the public forum, through press releases and other areas. You can see those stories. One is Kaiser Permanente, one close to my heart. As a child, I was actually saved at Kaiser Permanente, so they'll always have a special place for me. And we're so proud to have been able to brought them into Oracle Cloud HCM. They were very focused on the single enterprise-wide platform, being able to really focus on the employee experiences, simplifying and streamlining their processes, and especially in an area like healthcare. And in the case of the pandemic, I mean, they went live during the pandemic, and what an opportunity with all the disruption to streamline and improve processes overall. Marriott, right, another organization who has moved off of their legacy applications into the Cloud HCM. And again, this is a global organization, 15 languages, the full suite of HCM capabilities. I love this quote that Karen had. She is their Senior Vice President of HR Systems and Compensation. She says there's so much opportunity within Oracle Solutions, and it's nice when the hardest thing we have to do is prioritize which new capability we're going to bring forward first. So she in her conversation with Steve Miranda, you can actually watch it on YouTube. They had this conversation earlier this year. She talks about their consolidation. She talks about how impressed and happy she is with our focus on things like different ways to support the needs around COVID, the journeys and the different ways to craft employee experiences and streamline and help things out. So a great story there. And a final one, another one from the healthcare industry. Northwell Health, New York's largest health system, right? In the midst of the pandemic, they had so many challenges. They were completely overburdened. They were managing their staffing and bringing in temporary nurses and having daily meetings to manage all of this. In the midst of focusing on the employee experience. In fact, they had started their digital transformation back before the pandemic, but during this time, they implemented our analytics platform as well as HCM in other areas, and now they've eliminated that need for the daily touch bases on staffing. They're able to manage that entirely from one unified dashboard that helps them make all the critical decisions they need every day across their organization. They had many disparate systems across different health hospitals. They brought it all together on a single enterprise-wide platform. Super exciting stories. So I'm just going to close. I know I'm running out of time, but the Oracle community is a really special one, right? Stories like this are available. They're shared in presentations and in chats and ideas on future innovations. Where should we be going for our industry and our software, et cetera? We have a very robust community on our Cloud Customer Connect. Now, historically, this has been for our cloud customers, and I'm super excited to say that we're right in the middle of a transformation of the technology platform we use to drive this engagement. We have over 55,000 participants, by the way, just focused on HCM, over 200,000 across all of our Fusion applications. But I'm excited to say that this platform where you can go for education and engagement, hear the stories of others in the cloud if you're not in the cloud now, if you have questions about the experience, you want to see the ideas that other cloud members are suggesting for our future, if you're again on premise and thinking about what's your future direction, a great way to engage with the community and attend free educational sessions. That's going to be opening up for our PeopleSoft and EBS customers, our on-premise customers, very, very soon. So watch for that news to come up. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close and say I hope this has been not just an informative session, but one that really excites you, because so many organizations are making the transformation. They're capitalizing not just on digital technologies, but on rethinking their approach to solving the most critical challenges of their organization. And they're doing so by putting employees front and center in that new approach. How do we address our agility, our resiliency, not by focusing just on customers or products, but first and foremost by focusing on the needs of employees? And we bring all of that capability to bear, and we would love to engage with any of you more deeply and understand how we can help your organization progress forward. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of this conference. I think it's a fantastic lineup, and I hope you get all your questions answered. For that, I'll say so long. Enjoy the rest of your day.